HasanAbi corporate. I don't even know what that is. Let's talk about UAW.
We're on the verge of a historic strike by tens of thousands of auto workers. If a deal is not met, the United Auto Workers members plan to walk off the job at midnight. That would be as in tonight. The union's asking for more profits. Profits, of course, that workers are helping to create for the so-called Big Three.
That's a decently cool thing to hear from news media. Profits, of course, the workers are helping to create. First of all, profits that the workers are entirely creating. Okay? There is no profit that, like, there is no value without workers. There's nothing. They're creating all of it. Profits, by definition, is like the amount that you get to underpay your workforce by. That's what profit is. Interesting to hear this framing.
That's Ford, GM, and Stellantis. That's the parent company of Chrysler and Jeep. A strike in general, because of the lack of productivity, could cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars. And all of it is happening during the high-profile Detroit Auto Show, which is where we find our Chris Van Cleve. Chris?
Good morning, Tony. You wouldn't know that this city is on countdown to 11:59 p.m. if you looked at the auto show. It's been business as usual here, but even insiders are now saying without a breakthrough, a strike is feeling increasingly unavoidable. Ford CEO has been out and talking, saying they continue to make offers, but there is a ceiling, and workers, of course, are holding their breath.
From concerts to glitzy reveals of the latest new vehicles, the North American International Auto Show in Detroit is revving up, even as auto workers are poised to hit the brakes and walk off the job at midnight without a new labor deal.
How concerned are you that a strike could slam the brakes on that progress?
Well, we're not really going to talk about the strike today. Obviously, we've got a great team working.
Dude, this guy is awesome. What the? Look at what a creature this is. You cannot tell me that this Buick and GMC Global Vice President Duncan Alred, you can't tell me that this is a human being, okay? This is literally a lizard in a suit, okay? In a human skin suit. So what do you think about the strikes and your possible production halting? And he's like, well, we're not going to fucking talk about it. We're not going to fucking talk about it. We're going to go on a fucking walkabout. That's what humans do, right? I'm a human male. I'm a human male and not a lizard man. Why would you say that? I'm a fucking lizard man. Oh, is he a Brit? I thought he was Australian.
Team working to try and get an amicable solution.
The United Auto Workers Union.
An amicable solution.
Entered negotiations with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, seeking up to a 40% raise, a 32-hour work week, a return of pensions, and the reversing of concessions made during the Great Recession in 2008, when the Big Three teetered on the verge of collapse. But over the last decade, automakers have banked robust profits, more than $20 billion so far this year.
God damn. Yo, CBS Morning's cooking right now. What's happening? Dude, this is like as pro-labor of a strike coverage as you can get, dude. That is nutso. They showed the demands. They basically said the demands are reasonable by showing the demands. They even had a lizard person that they put a microphone in the face of. They mentioned one of the key aspects of this conversation, which is the 20 billion plus profits, or 20 billion so far this year, 5 billion in profits so far as well amongst the Big Three, and more than 20 billion in profits over the course of the last decade. Does CBS not do automotive ads or what? Yeah, what the f? It's like the ad team couldn't secure the GM contract this year, so they're just like going nutty with it.
Alone.
The Big Three can afford to immediately give...
not 20 billion, sorry, 250 billion, right? Is that what it is? 20 billion in profits this past year? No, I think it's just net revenue. I think it's 5 billion in profits.
But over the last decade, automakers have banked robust profits, more than...
Yeah, 20 billion in... Wait.
20 billion so far this year alone.
Wait, what? 20 billion? No. I thought it was 5 billion this year and 20 billion over the decade in profits. What the... Oh, the 5 billion was stock buybacks. That's where I'm up my numbers. Holy shit, dude. Holy moly. That is so much money, dude. God damn. God damn, son. $20 billion so far. Remember, profits are what bosses can get away with not paying its workforce. That's all profits are. Holy moly, dude. Dude, people like Kramer. I'm gonna juxtapose this coverage with like the type of coverage that you will hear from, you know, the CNBCs of the world. But here, hold on.
The big three can afford to immediately give us our fair share. If they choose not to, then they're choosing to strike themselves.
But Wednesday night, a clearly frustrated Jim Farley, Ford CEO, says it's the union who's not negotiating.
If there is a strike, it won't be because we didn't put a great deal in front of them, because we have 4 times.
Can you avoid a strike at Ford?
You can't negotiate successfully if you don't get feedback.
Why is he saying that? They're the ones who just, their counter was such doo-doo butter, dude. They asked for a 40% increase, I think, right? And Ford's counter to that 40% was what? Like, I'll give you 14% and I tell you to fuck right off. And no pensions either. No, the feedback was like so offensively low. It's like, oh, did you say 40 or 14? I must have misheard you. That's why I said 14 as a counteroffer. 46% counter by UAW was a 9% wage hike by Ford. Oh my God, it wasn't even 14. I think it was GM, right? GM's Barra reveals latest record offer to UAW saying both sides must work urgently. Yeah, the offer pushes the hourly wage increase up to 20% over the life of the contract compared to the 18%, which is what UAW Sean Fain said it was last night. Fain indicated GM is getting serious about the bargaining with this offer. This is true. They increased it. Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. You're doing $20 billion in profits and you can't pay your workers more? Like, what the fuck are we doing? We are so conditioned to believe that we are supposed to be underpaid. We are not supposed to be paid by the value that we're generating as an entire unit, as a company, but instead by what they can get away with underpaying us. That people don't even comprehend this. That's why the billions of dollars in profit versus the demands that the union is making is an important juxtaposition, okay? Because the $20 billion, because what are profits? Profits are, once again, how much they can get away, how much your boss can get away with not paying you. That's what profits are, okay? Because there is no value without labor. There is no factory floor without the people that work on it, right? There is no singular car that you could create without the people that are putting those parts together, people that are making those parts, people that are even on the marketing side, right? Like they're the non-union side of this aspect as well, but every single part of the production is done by workers. Workers touch that. They're the ones who do all of it. And without them, you just have that dumbass CEO who's like, oh, there's no counteroffer. The CEO actually doesn't generate any value whatsoever. There's no value being brought to the table by the CEO. The CEO's job is to squeeze every vector it can to ensure that the profit margins stay high for the shareholders. CEO's entire job is to force your wages down. Okay? That's it. So, having said that, when you're doing $20 billion in profits, that means you are fucking over your workforce to the tune of $20 billion. Okay? Because that's what a profit is in the Marxian sense. That means you got away with stealing $20 billion of surplus labor value from your workforce. That is an insane amount of money. That is an unimaginable amount of money. That is so unnecessarily greedy. Like, there's a level of greed that most Americans will say yes to because they love capitalism. They've been conditioned into thinking that it's the best possible structure. It's the best possible organization of the economy. There's a lot of hurt that the average worker in this country will take on and say, fuck it, it's fine. There's no other alternative. $20 billion in 1 year is unimaginable levels of stealing. You know? It's just so beyond the fucking pale. These guys in their ivory towers have gone crazy. They've lost their fucking minds. They've gone blind with greed. I don't get it. I don't understand how this is allowed. And throughout that time frame and over the course of the past couple of decades, what have they done? They've offered additional bonuses from time to time as concessions. Okay? They've done it. They've offered concessions. Imagine how hard non-unionized workers for Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Mercedes, etc. are getting bent by their companies. But what about the Smithian perspective? Is there no profit incentive? Then how can we get new cars each year? Also, I would suspect Toyota, I know Hyundai, for example, is unionized. Well, maybe not in America. In America, Hyundai's factories use children, like the ones in Alabama. Okay? But in Korea, Hyundai is unionized. Same goes for auto manufacturers in other parts of the world. Oftentimes, they're unionized. But if they have a factory in America, they are not unionized because America's dog with labor protections. Hate to be that guy, but it's 9 billion YTD, not in a year. What? Mercedes doesn't function the same way. They actually include labor leaders in negotiations and meetings, and shit is cool. Yeah, because they're German, dog. Yes. In Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and it's not just a Mercedes thing, but in general, in Germany, I think your union leadership is present in board meetings, right? It's required by law. A good law that we should have as well, but we don't even have fucking union leadership in 90% of the workforce. But yes, in Germany, you have to have representatives required by law. Labor needs to, I think, have 40% board representation for any large company. If that was 20 billion, it was split amongst the 150K UAW workers, they would each one would make 133,000 more this year. Yes, but the big three doesn't just hire unionized, UAW workers. Obviously, there's a ton more workers that have also contributed to that profit. It's not necessarily just the auto workers themselves that are under the banner of UAW. There's even other aspects of the car manufacturing process that are non-unionized. There's other aspects that are in overseas manufacturing hubs, which I am bringing up right now because I want you to understand that that is in the eyes of everyone's favorite worst analyst of all time, Jim Cramer, a totally viable solution to the strikes. Let's take a look at what Jim Cramer is saying.
We are preparing to strike these companies in a way they've never seen before.
Jim, you said Ford does have the best offer. I think at 20.
Well, I'm going to posit something. The man you saw just now, I think, is a paper tiger. He's coming in and saying, well, they've never seen anything like it. I think there's a nuclear option on the table. If he's,
I fucking love this. This made me so happy when I watched it this morning, because inverse Jim Cramer, folks, you already fucking know it. Okay, it's inverse Jim Cramer time. A couple months back, Jim Cramer was talking about how he is afraid of the UAW and what the UAW is going to do. Back then, I was afraid because inverse Jim Cramer, I thought the UAW was going to be a paper tiger. Now that there's a looming threat of a strike at the doorstep of the big three, and Jim Cramer's talking a big game about how Sean Fain is a paper tiger, he's not going to do it, he's not going to follow through. I fucking love that. As I was stating, inverse Jim Cramer, what does that mean? That means, and this is a law, this is a rule at CNBC, whatever Jim Cramer says, the exact opposite is going to happen. Jim Cramer says buy, you sell. Jim Cramer says sell, you buy. Okay? That's how this works. Inverse Jim Cramer ETF up 3.74%.
It's not careful. And that nuclear option is a country called Mexico. You don't hear about it much. But if you say we're in...
Yeah, Jim Cramer's like, oh, yeah, dude, let's just ship the manufacturing facilities to Mexico. Fuck all the laws and rules that exist that, like, barely stop companies from doing so, and many allowances have been given over the course of many, many years to do so, which were deeply unpopular decisions by the Democrats and even sometimes by the Republicans. But having said that, he's like, yeah, just move your shop. Move your shop to Mexico. Come on, do it.
Transigent, and we're going to stay at 40%. There's no give. Well, you know what? Monterrey, Puebla, Correct or wrong?
The capacity to have that happen, not overnight.
Mercedes did it in 2 years.
2 years would be a long time to.
Why? They don't have that much demand. You put that out there and you say, listen.
He said they don't have that much demand. You could just up and move your factory. We're talking 145,000 workers that are unionized at UAW facilities, but like many more if you incorporate all of the other workers that work in the non-union side, okay? Just move it to Puebla. Just no cars for 2 years. Fuck it. It's like, how is this the very same broadcast where like 3 minutes prior they're talking about like if the strike goes on for 3 days, that will be $100 billion in revenue that is dropped. 3% of the total GDP of the United States come from car manufacturing. That would eviscerate. And it's like, but then he's like, just move it. 2 years, no cars. Puebla. Okay. No cars for 2 years. Got it. Thanks, Jim. Mercedes did it.
Listen, you want to know where the new ones are going to be made? We're going to continue to make the old ones. But Puebla's got a 55,000 person factory for VW, and they got a good educational workforce. It's $5 an hour. No real pollution control rules. That's not to be mentioned.
By the way, this in and of itself is no different than what the fucking Australian freak was saying. Like, this is just openly admitting the grossness that the average capitalist parasitic shark experience on a daily fucking basis. Also, the Mexican unions have released a letter calling for them members to not comply with auto speedups in solidarity with the UAW. NPR did trash coverage on this topic. No mention of what the UAW is asking, but they did play a clip of Ford CEO. They're saying they're offering a great deal. No, it was worse. What did they do this morning that made me lose my fucking mind? I was listening to NPR this morning. There was actually a decent one. There was a decent coverage from not Up First, but the other one. Just politics. NPR politics. Not All Things Considered. No. On the NPR politics one, they extensively covered the unions. It was decent. It wasn't that bad. But in the morning, I think they had some fucking dog takes.
Not to be mentioned, have free health care. So you know what? You want to play ball? You want to keep doing this? Mexico.
Glad to see you're standing up for the American worker here, Jim.
even his co-host, like, glad to see you're standing up for your fellow American workers, Jim. Which I think he's drunk out of his fucking mind. This is where he starts realizing, oh, what am I saying?
American worker here, Jim. Thanks for that.
Well, no, I was a union member twice. One was completely corrupt when I led a wildcat strike and was fired.
Oh, okay.
That was not good.
But in this case, you seem to believe that the automakers have
I just think that
the upper hand.
Dude, Jim Cramer being in a fucking union and getting fired for leading a wildcat strike is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. I do not believe it for a second, but I want this to be the truth, okay? Yeah, the NPR UAW strikes was not that bad, I don't think. At least it didn't piss me off as much. He was a Marxist when he was in college and broke. He's infiltrated the elite and tricked them into losing money on his bad calls. A true worker of solidarity. Didn't Alex Press say that Kramer was a Maoist in college? She said he was a trot, I think, but also as a joke. I don't think she was being serious.
Makers have.
Well, I just think that this man, and I like, the union, you could say that they're way behind. The wages aren't the same.
His point would be that they have barely kept up. They haven't kept up with even the pace of inflation since 2007.
So you go to 25. Are they not? Is he not satisfied with 25% increase? I think most of America says Ford's the most unionized company in America. It is.
What about the way that they say they're going to strike, which would be not across the board?
Well, I love that they moved. Merca. He's fucking sloshed. Dude, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's like actually fucking out of his mind, zooted.
Stellantis is the one that you want to go to. Oh, you mean targeted factories?
Yes, targeted factories.
So you target the F-150 because it makes a lot of money, the F-150 hybrid. They can build a hybrid very easily in Monterrey.
It's back to Mexico. He brings it back. He's like, Puebla. They can build a hybrid very easy in Monterrey, okay? I promise.
B of A took a crack at that, what they're calling a standing strike, where you go after individual facilities. Right. Their argument is it'd be very difficult and inefficient for any of the operators to coexist with that. So they see likely, if it goes that way, makes sense to shut down, lay off the workers, and restart if and when you get a deal.
Well, look.
Yeah, nice, man. Thanks. Yeah, just fucking lay them off.
I think this man... I would not say that Sean Fain is a paper tiger had they...
You just said he was a paper tiger.
No, I said I wouldn't say if they had raised a lot of money in a strike fund. Their strike...
This part's really fucking annoying, too. He's like, their strike fund only's got 5... What is it?
It's 5 weeks.
It's 5 weeks.
$500, $600 a week, and then you're out of money. People like to get paid.
That's such a dumb fucking take, dude. Do you understand how much money the big three would lose in 5 weeks? Do you understand? Do you comprehend how much money the American economy, specifically in like Michigan, would fucking lose in 5 weeks? It's still 1 billion plus in that time. Is this guy okay? Yeah, he's so fucking stupid. The math checks out where the workers are slated to lose, what, $800 million? But the company is slated to lose $1 billion. The companies are slated to lose more than $1 billion. If it goes the distance. It's not. It's fucking ridiculous. Puebla! UAW makes up 3% of U.S. GDP. A UAW strike on the big three could result in a total economic loss of more than $5 billion after just 10 days. Also, their strike fund is $825 million, meaning they can sustain a strike on all three automakers for 12 weeks. This is a problem with how massive these companies are. When you are that ginormous, you can't fucking stop working. Because if you stop working, millions of people rely on you. It's not just like your treats and getting your nice little fucking car. There's a big part of the economy that is just like, I wouldn't say fake jobs, but kind of make work, where it's an entire ecosystem that you've created around commodity production. It's not just about not being able to purchase a fucking F-150. It's about the tremendous amount of job loss that these companies will experience. No, fake jobs is accurate. I have one. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fake jobs for sure.
You can't hold out. I mean, these guys are not like
you're just
running
basing
backs.
It solely on the fact that
they're not like a running back who's going to hold out and get a big deal. There's no big deal if you hold out.
Dude, I think it's additionally funny that he's saying this because this is happening when like holding out has worked. If right now these workers did not have leverage, you wouldn't be this fucking drunk at like 9 a.m. in the morning. Like, it's precisely that reason that he's this fucking yeeted on the morning broadcast, okay?
And you've got to put food on the table. I'm just saying that Sean Fain, when you listen to him, he sounds like he's the president of the United States. No, president of...
You watch other people's content, that's kind of a fake job. I never said my job is a real job, brother. But if it makes you feel better about your fucking bullshit ass, like, sit in front of a computer while I watch HasanAbi on the company time job, and every time your fucking manager walks by, you immediately alt-tab to your Excel spreadsheet job, as like, if it makes you feel better about that kind of bullshit job that you have, David Graeber style, then go ahead. You know what I mean? I know, because I've fucking been there. I've done it. I've been there and I've done that. Every single person knows that the actual amount of work that you put in most jobs, as office jobs usually is what I'm talking about, the real amount of work that you put in is like 2 hours maximum, okay? The rest of the day is just spent kicking around, taking long-ass lunch breaks, talking to the girl in the marketing team that you have a crush on, going to the fucking cooler, going to get coffee, watching the HasanAbi broadcast in one ear, hoping that your fucking headphones don't somehow unplug as I'm talking about penises or dicks or butts as your manager is walking by. You know what I mean? That's the job. I know. I've been there. I've done it. I was a biz dev guy at the Young Turks. I promise you, I know. My manager says she noticed I was watching videos and doesn't care, but to think about the optics, lol. You did time theft on your own uncle? That's pretty fucked up. Bitch, he did wage theft on me. What the fuck? Goes without saying, brother. I got paid so little that I got money back from the fucking government my first year of working. I got paid $21,000 my first year of working a full-time job at the Young Turks, okay? Like almost illegal salary. Yeah, he got what he paid for? Yeah, right. Damn, jank does not sound good here. Yeah, I know. It's okay. You know, sometimes you got to go through that. He paid you invaluable job experience. Yeah. Got paid for 2 hours a day worth of work? No, you do 2 hours a day worth of work, and so do I. Everyone does that. I'm not working actually 2 hours a day. My billable hours are not 2 hours a day. I'm working full time. Dummies. God damn. Some of you are such fucking cucks. I can't tell if it's just to own me, but meanwhile, what you should be owning is the top of the hour ad break. This graph hasn't received the attention it deserves. We hear so much about the UAW's supposedly unreasonable demands. So little about the truly astonishing levels of greed, market manipulation, price gouging, and exploitation by the big three. Here is big three by the numbers. UAW top wage rate increased by 6%. Labor cost per vehicle increased only by 4 to 5%. Inflation increased by 20%. Average prices increased by 34%, outpacing inflation. Stock buybacks, 1,500%. CEO pay in that time frame also increased by 40%. And the NA profits increased by 65%. It's like one of those memes, like, please, someone who's good with the economy, help me fix this. You know what I mean? Someone who's good at the economy, please help me budget this. My family is dying. I'm just gonna copy paste that last part and quote tweet this. Yeah. Like, it's nuts. Food, $200. Data, $150. Rent, $800. Candles, $3,600. Utility, $150. This post is 2 years old. I've since lost custody of my children, and my wife left me. Still wild about candles. $800 for rent in 2013 was still almost plausible. Yeah, well, he was spending $1,600 on candles, though. Anyway, we watched the Kramer. Let's finish off this video from the dumbass Ford guy.
Because we have 4 times.
Can you avoid a strike at Ford?
You can't negotiate successfully if you don't get feedback. So I don't know how to answer your question.
Hanging in the balance are more than a...
Could you elaborate on that graph and what does it mean a little bit, please? Yes. Although I feel like this is very self-explanatory. Ford and the big three, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, have only increased the top wage rate by 6% over the last 4 years. They've only gotten 6% raises for the top earners. The labor cost per vehicle over the past 4 years has only increased by 4 to 5%, meaning the labor costs have stayed relatively low over the last 4 years. Inflation, on the other hand, on the economy, the price that that everything costs, okay, in your basket at the grocery store, or in you know, your housing costs and your car costs and all that stuff, has increased by 20% totally. Average prices on that same time frame for the I guess cars have gone up by 34%, despite the fact that the labor cost per vehicle has maintained a 4% increase. Stock buybacks, on the other hand, have gone up by 1,500%. And CEO pay, because of the wonderful way that the CEO has kept labor and the labor cost per vehicle low and the stock buybacks very high, has gone up by 40%. And the NA profits overall for the big three have gone up by 65%. Now, of course, if your labor cost per vehicle has only gone up by 4% and inflation is 20%, that means that you've gotten a 15% pay cut, while CEOs have gotten a 40% pay raise, or rather a 20% pay raise, let's say. Here, let's finish this.
150,000 auto workers, like mother of two Jasmine Hickman.
So it's been quite stressful.
She and her husband could both find themselves on strike by Friday, losing their health benefits and living on strike pay of $500 a week each.
We don't want to break our company, but we also want to be paid for our fair wages.
Of course, $1,000 a week for a family of four doesn't go very far. The union strategy is to strike specific plants that are key to making some of the automakers' most lucrative vehicles. Economists say it's a risky strategy, and even a short strike against all three automakers, say 10 days, could cost $5.6 billion to the economy. Nearly $1 billion of that would be in lost wages for auto workers. Gail?
Oh, boy, the clock is ticking, Chris. Let's hope they work it out. Thank you so much.
They buy back stocks that were sold on the market to sell them later for more money and be less likely to be bought, but they are too big anyway. Stock buybacks are when the board decides, at the behest of its shareholders, to repurchase its shares in the company itself. This way, they consolidate the stock. Now, they do it with the profits that they're raking in. They make profits by underpaying their workers, or rather paying their workers a market rate, whatever they can get away with paying them. And then they engage in stock buybacks to buy up the stock in the marketplace to artificially inflate the price of the stock itself. It is illegal market manipulation, and yet it is, in America, totally legal and not market manipulation now. It used to be considered illegal market manipulation. Now it is like a more common way. Is not illegal, bro. No, it's not illegal now. It used to be illegal. What the f are you saying? And it should be illegal, but it's not. I hate people who literally look at situations like this and run their goddamn mouths. It is literally market manipulation. I mean, now it's not illegal. My bad. Shut the fuck up. Last year, GM did stock buybacks in October. Then this year, February, all the top executives sold millions in stock and gifted millions also. Then they started firing people because they can't afford the cost. All of the all of the profits that they've generated, when you generate a ton of profits, okay, in a company, by extracting surplus labor value from your workforce, by underpaying them, by stealing what the value that they've generated, you have two options, okay? You can either reinvest it into the company by offering better benefits and better compensation to the workers that generated that value, or you can engage in market manipulation like this. Some companies choose to take that money and then invest it into other companies with predatory or non-predatory mergers and acquisitions, in which they will go into a company, buy it, and then eliminate redundancy, which means mass layoffs for the company, in a way to manipulate their stock prices in a positive direction again. Sometimes they engage in mergers and acquisitions in order to monopolize a sector. Sometimes they engage in mergers and acquisitions in an effort to engage in horizontal or vertical integration. All of these are different methods of monopolizing, okay? Again, another thing that should be illegal, but it's not. Now they do all of those things and engage in stock buybacks and prefer it to regular dividend payments. Sometimes when they do this kind of stock buyback, they also use the existing profits. Nice buzzwords. That doesn't happen. You're joking, right? No, this guy's f***ing kidding. There's no shot. Yeah, he's trolling. Okay, thank you. Monopolizing. What does that even mean? Do you know what a monopoly is? Like the board game? Hasan has no idea what he's talking about. Stock buybacks are market manipulation. Lamau. What is monopolizing? What is... Okay, corporate consolidation of a sector turning into a monopoly where the one corporation has majority market share and can control pricing. Vertical integration is when a company that works in one form in one sector decides to purchase other aspects of their production or other aspects of their logistical process. Like, for example, Amazon having its own delivery mechanism is technically vertical integration. Normally, under free market capitalism, there's supposed to be competition. There's supposed to be a division of labor, both inside of the companies, but also a division, but not a division of labor, but like all aspects of production oftentimes are handled by different corporations. But of course, it's much better for profit margins when you become a monopoly. Horizontal integration, on the other hand, the non-vertical one would be mergers on industries that are competitive to yours. Stock buybacks is literally buying back stocks to increase stock value, literally manipulating the market. Yes. You are a part of Amazon's monopoly, by the way. Do you think I don't know that? Amazon owns Twitch. Okay? Amazon owns Twitch. Twitch owns majority market share of the live streaming sector, the live streaming industry. And yes, I am very much a part of that monopoly. I am a contracted employee of Amazon Corporation. Are there more basic econ concepts that you guys are confused by that I can describe to you in very easy terms? I hope I'm doing a decent job with this so far. Doesn't Amazon literally sell AWS services to Kick, though, like the opposite of a monopoly? What? Amazon is a monopoly in e-commerce, and they also own majority market share in the streaming side, but they also own almost, there's an oligopoly on the web service platform that they have. Their main competitor is Microsoft's Azure, but Amazon is so massive and so powerful that, yes, they can technically sell their services to their competitor. A fact that I was 100% correct on, by the way, when I talked about how technically Twitch's profitability, as a matter of fact, is a simple accounting trick. It's all up to Amazon to consider Twitch to be the most profitable platform on the planet or not, because Twitch relies on AWS, which Amazon owns, and Amazon is so massive that they literally sell a white glove service to their Twitch's competitor, Kick, in order for Kick to survive. Okay? In order for Kick to survive, they need to be able to even have an operation, they need AWS and they need IVS. Okay? These are two different services that Amazon sells. AWS is the servers. IVS is the video service. IVS is technically just Twitch. Okay? IVS is a product that Amazon started selling when they bought Twitch. So technically, Kick is literally giving a ton of money to Amazon to even try and compete with Twitch. This is why, this is what happens when you are a gigantic mega corporation that owns majority market share. IVS is an AWS product that only exists since they purchased Twitch. Please stop. I know what I'm talking about. I don't know why. I do not know why people can come in here and tell me like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. IVS is an AWS product that they offer as a service because they own Twitch. IVS, the video service that they're selling, is literally just Twitch with its like marketing and branding ripped out of it. Okay, it's a white glove, white label service. Only said that because you said AWS is a separate service. IVS is a service that directly has Twitch employees working on it. Stop being pedantic. Yes, if Amazon wanted Twitch to be profitable, they could just say Twitch is, it costs Twitch $0 for their web servers. This is why I always say, is white glove the same as white label? Yes. White glove is a service. White label is a product. Last year, we reported that the UAW strike fund was about $1 billion, though that has been questioned. Certainly, a selective picket would extend that fund. Why are you guys coming to a godless commie who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about the economy, who's also a fake capitalist secretly, to learn about Econ 101? You guys should be learning this by reading books. What the fuck do I know about monopolies and vertical integration or Amazon's offerings in the form of AWS or IVS? I'm a fucking dumb himbo who also doesn't know anything about the economy, because if I knew anything about the economy, I would be a rugged capitalist, an entrepreneur, and lose all my money in cryptocurrency schemes and NFTs. That's what I would be doing. Or dumping all the liquid cash that I have directly into the real estate market so I can become a landlord and earn passive income without ever actually having to work. Okay? That's what people who are smart do. People who are dumb don't do that. Okay? Dumb people don't do the smart things like that. All right. Let's call up Blood Bud. Hello.
Mosh.